All right, shalom Israel, shalom, shalom. Y'all about Shem Yah Shah, Barak Thumb to the brothers. Y'all Shemal Thumb about Shem Yah Shah to the sisters. ISUPK, the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, established in 1969. It's like at 1 West, under 25th Street, Harlem, New York. We are led by Commanding General Yohana. We are not affiliated with any other organization. Pay your tithes. And get ready for the Passover, the Lord's 55th annual Passover, going down April 20th, Durham, North Carolina. Get your travel ready, get your lodging ready, save a couple bucks because you know we're going to want to hit the city. So we're coming to you live. I actually became Milwaukee LASHAWAN QADASH class. We're going to go over some of the stories of HACHAANAKAH. So they don't have that recorded with what we have here, at least in the Hebrew. But we're going to go over some of the passages anyway. And we can pick out some of the words and we can still trace them back. Some of the more pertinent words for the text. So this is the 8th day. There's no official closing to the Feast of Dedication. But it's encouraged to gather together with those around you and, you know, break bread and enjoy the camaraderie and celebrate a victory, a great victory, an immense victory, and a display of courage that our brothers and sisters had shown in the face of oppression, in the face of death and unaliving and torture and maiming and murder. It's like I can't even say that. But the courage that these brothers and sisters have shown, you know, resonates in us today. That's why it's so important for us to stay attached to our culture, which is why the language is so important to bring us back to it. You know, just got done watching an excellent class from Houston, Texas, and Slack, I forgot I don't know the name off top. Just walked over it the other day. And you know the in-depth, like the scope that our language covers. It's you can see us in it. The way that we talk and the way that we act today, you can see us in that language. Like it defines us. And it's you know, it's something that's been lost to us. That's why we keep these classes every Friday. Every Friday. If you're in the Midwest, it normally starts about maybe 6, 7 o'clock, depending on the school zone that you're in. Milwaukee, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. But I mean, you got the West Coast, you got the Eastern Seaboard, you got all over down south. You got you know, brothers in the UK and many other locations, many other schools that keep this culture alive. So I guess I want to start with you know, some of the history, and I know a lot of classes have been going over this. So we're gonna go over some of the history. We're gonna pick a couple words out and I'll write them out in the Hebrew, but we'll throw the scriptures up here too so that y'all can follow along. So the first one, First Maccabees 1:1, Bible shot. It's like there's no light above you no more, huh? Yeah, that's going. All right. That's like you got it.
The first book of Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 1. And it happened, after that Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Chedum, and smiting Darius, king of the Persians, and Medes, that he reigned in his stead the first over Greece.
So now this is giving you historical context on the timeline. So if you look at this, that rise of the Greco-Roman Empire is what was taking over our people. So First Maccabees, we're in chapter 1, verse 1. And that happened after that Alexander, son of Philip, I'll write these down here too. And again, this is to mainly give you the time frame, the time reference, because some of these records have been preserved, so you can date this back to that approximate era. There's a lot of discrepancies on, this calendar got messed up, this calendar got messed up, and conspiracy theories about different timelines and how everything just got switched up to confuse the people. Never mind all that. Don't get yourself over concerned with that. There are records of Alexander and his father Philip. The Macedonian. Who came out of the land of Chittim. So now we had covered this actually a couple weeks ago when we were breaking down the tables of nations, and we had went over Chittim. Let me try to pull that up again real quick. So give me 1 second. So here the spelling is a little bit different. So the Macedonians, who came out of the land of Chittim. Chittim. So now this was actually Kittim. So if you remember one of our classes a few weeks ago, Kittim. These were talking about some of the sons of Japheth. But now again, as history would have it, once they got colonized and slaughtered, another people came into power and assumed that identity of that land. They smitten Darius, the king of the Persians. The Persians and Medes. And we know these from some of these names, even back from Genesis. That he reigned in his stead. Talking about Alexander had reigned in his stead. First over Greece. So now again, from that previous class where we had talked about Kittim, Greece, the Greeks at that time, they were Japhetic. So again, it lets you know, Alexander, the son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of a different land, Chittim, had smitten Darius, king of the Persians and Medes, that he reigned in his stead first over Greece. So this was a foreign invasion that had occurred. So some of the key words that we're going to be looking at in the Old Testament, Kittim, that we can actually spell out with the Hebrew. And we'll open up the concordance lexicon. Oh, it's like in my fault. All right. So Alexander. Also, that's a more modern name after again when the Greco-Roman Empire came in. That was definitely later in. Not so much Old Testament. This era that we're talking about was the that battle between Rome and Jerusalem when they were in the midst of taking power. The Greco-Roman Empire. So I think I'm gonna find Alexander in the Hebrew. Or its equivalent. No. I can find Philip. But we definitely trace back Kittim. Macedonians came later. That'd be another Greek. Persia we can find. So we're going to look at Kittim, Persia. The Medes. Should be able to see that. Greeks. Should be able to see that. All right, so we're going to be trace Darius in this. Alright, so we can find King Darius. That's one reference. I can find Philip. And yeah, we can get that out. Macedonians is Greek too. Okay. All right. So out of this verse, so we can readily trace back to the Hebrew. Again, in the same timeline. Because in Ezra's, in the Apocrypha, that was kind of that breaking point between the Old Testament and the New Testament when the Greco-Roman Empire was making their way in. And, you know, before things were, before the culture really kind of shifted in that direction. So let's go. Where's that one? Persia. We'll find that. Medes. Greece. We'll put King Darius over here. We'll just use Darius. This is going to give us both of that. So Darius. So Da. Ra. Darius. Now we actually have Persia in the same sentence. Pa. Ras. Let's see. Yum. And the Medes. Maya. We got Greece. And so again, we know that is the son of one of the sons of Japheth, who is he? The progenitor of the original Greeks, the Greek Isles, Greco. I mean, prior to Esau sticking their nose in the business, so Javan, or it's not Yavan. In English, you would have said Javan. So, let's make this a little more clear. Darayash. Darayash. Salaki. I did that backwards. Darayash. My fault. Darayash. Ha. Yeah. Yes. It's like a paras. Paras. It's just getting bigger and bigger. Pause. My God. Y'all want. Again, everybody's penmanship might be a little bit different. We just try to stay within the same ballpark. You're gonna see some of the similarities here. commonly confused characters. The Da with the Ra, instead of Ya with the Wa. The Da, more crispy at that corner, boxed off. The Ra, just a rounded corner. The Ya, just kind of like a little apostrophe. The Wa looks similar to this, just a thinner profile. Much thinner profile. And again, similar effect here. The Ka, Tha, and Ma, they kind of share some of those elements. This is more just boxed off, Stonehenge-y looking, rounded over. It's got that kick, and this is like a just a rounded box, more or less. Nothing incredibly exciting, but you can start. There are elements of the Paleo, which was more pictographic, and the Assyrian, which was definitely less, because they were trying to take that kind of edge off it. You can see some of the similarities. They didn't completely abandon Salaki. They didn't completely abandon their writing system. Something else? Damn, Salaki. Something else that gets confused is the Sa and the Ma. So you got two versions of this character. At the end of the word, it's going to take on this form. In the beginning, it's going to take on something like this. Can get confused with the Sa. This one's just damn near a circle. Got a little colic on there, just so this one's more boxed off, and then you can see that this is not connected at the bottom. So again, you can see that example, the Ma versus at the end of the word, we're in the beginning. So in the beginning and the middle, take on that form. At the end, take on that. And this one almost looks like an evolutionary timeline. A lot of the same elements right here. Tiny little apostrophe. Normal size character. Same profile. Same narrow profile for all of them. Just gets a little bit longer. So Ya, Wa, and Na. Again, at the end of the word, in the beginning or middle, it'll look a little bit different. Almost like the Ba. The Ba it's a little wider of a stance. If this extends out, this actually meets up. So some elements to consider when you're going through it. So again, we had the son, or Alexander, the son of King Darius. They were from Chittim, and from Chittim and Medes. Became the king of Persia, and Greece. Read that one more time.
First Maccabees, verse 2?
Yeah. No, the verse 1. Just read that part over.
Okay. The first book of Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 1. And it happened after that Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Kedem, had smitten Darius, king of Persia, and Medes, that he reigned in his stead the first over Greece.
So this again was the establishment of the Greco-Roman Empire to everyone's detriment. I mean, look what they did with all that power. Go ahead, read 2.
Verse 2. And made many wars, and won many strongholds, and slew the kings of the earth.
He was a great warrior. Been on a lot of conquests. Had to unalive a whole lot of people to build that Greco-Roman Empire. Had to steal a whole lot of people's identities to make that kingdom. Keep going.
Verse 3. And went through to the ends of the earth, and took spoils of many nations. Salaki.
I want to get to the part where skip to verse 5.
The first book of Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 5. And after these things he fell sick, and perceived that he should die.
Oh no. Keep going.
Verse 6. Wherefore he called his servants, such were honorable, and had been brought up with him from his youth, and parted his kingdom among them while he was yet alive.
So now one thing I want y'all to pay attention to is how that read. He chose his servants, those that were honorable. That's a positive quality, honorable. But look at who it's being applied to. They were honorable to their people. They were not honorable to the Israelites. They were not honorable to the Most High, to the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. But they were honorable amongst themselves. It's expected that people stick with their own nation. There's nothing wrong with that. So, as we grow in, I won't say so much numbers because that's not the overwhelming factor here. Numbers. We could do this with just a handful of brothers if needed. The same way that they had reestablished the school, very similar to how they had reestablished the temple, the rededication of the temple. But we're going over the history of these men that were honorable amongst themselves, that was getting a kingdom divided up based off of the conquest of Alexander the Macedonian, or Alexander the Greek. Today they know him as Alexander the Great. So they started talking about breaking up the kingdom while he was still alive, knowing that he was about to die, breaking up the kingdom amongst certain men. So now we're going to read into who some of the generals were. Let's skip down to we're going to skip down to 10. So like you skip down to 8.
Okay. The first book of Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 8. And his servants bear rule over one in his place.
So again, those different lands that were divided up, they all ruled in their different little spots. So you had somebody that I believe was placed over Egypt, somebody was placed over the children of Israel in our areas here. But it's gonna get to Antiochus, who was the one that was bearing rule over our zone. Keep going.
Verse 9. And after his death, they put on crowns upon themselves. So did their sons after them many years, and evils were multiplied in the earth.
So if you leave these people alone to their own devices, they are going to cause chaos and mayhem. So one in particular, go ahead to verse 10.
Verse 10. And there came out of them a wicked root, Antiochus, surname Epiphanes, son of Antiochus the king, who had been a hostage at Rome, and he reigned in the 137th year of the kingdom of Greeks.
So I'm just trying to look him up real quick. Damn, so it's not given. So it's given the name, but in parentheses. Not giving it in the Greek. It's giving the inferences. So if you go to like the book of Dan, go in the book of Dan, chapter 8. It goes over. It goes over the building of this beast that we call America, that we call Babylon, or the European Union, Russia, France, Spain, Germany, all that. It goes over the building of that kingdom. Daniel had a vision. Let's see if we can pull that up, because that'd be an interesting. Yeah, if you go into Daniel 8, you can read about that vision that he had. So, Salakia, we're going to keep going, because a lot of this is going to be written down in Greek. So it's a little difficult to trace that back into the Hebrew. Some of that, without the meaning of it, it'd be tough to give the equivocation.
So you want to read Daniel chapter 8?
Not right now.
Okay.
You finished 10. Read 11.
First Maccabees chapter 1 verse 11. In those days went there out of Israel wicked men, who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us.
That was our own people. That was your sellouts. That was your reprobates, man. Those brothers that were weak in the spirit and didn't want to fight, and they were comfortable with the little bit of gifts that they were given, and leniency and consideration for maybe their political gains that they were getting from the Roman rulership. So they didn't want to rock the boat. It's similar to how the children of Israel had felt when they were coming out of Egypt. They felt abandoned. They felt scared. They felt like, why do we come all the way out here just to die? They had no food. It was hard to get water. So, they felt like it'd almost be better to just go back to Egypt. At least we had shelter. We had food. We had beer. They had drugs that they were feeding them to keep on building the pyramids. That's part of their payment. So it's a similar effect that you got with some of these people. This is that PTSD. This that Stockholm syndrome. So in those days, wicked men came out of Israel, persuading many. What did I say? Here to make a covenant. Persuaded many, saying, "Let us go make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow." That's that same sentiment that they had out there in Egypt. Let's see. All right, skip that. So again, you had a handful of people that was willing to make a pact with them, like that ever worked out for us. But you also had some other people that wanted to keep their integrity and keep their honor. Skip over to chapter 2. First Maccabees chapter 2. Start at verse 1 by Kashah.
First Maccabees chapter 2, verse 1. In those days arose Matthias the son of John, the son of Simon, a priest of sons of Joarib, from Jerusalem, and dwelt in Modin. Verse 2.
We can skip a little bit down to speaking his word. God forbid we should forsake the law. Skip down to verse 6 and just read from there for a minute.
First Maccabees chapter 2, verse 6. And when he saw the blasphemies that were committed in Judah and Jerusalem, verse 7, he said, "Woe is me! Wherefore was I born to see this ministry of my people and of the holy city, and to dwell there, when it was delivered into the land of the enemy, and the sanctuary to the hand of the strangers." Verse 8, her temple is become as man without glory. Verse 9, her glorious vessels are carried away into captivity.
Just like it, get back up to 7. So he said, "Woe is me, wherefore I was born to see this misery of my people." So he was like, damn, like I never thought I'd live to see the day. That's pretty much how that statement will go. And he's witnessing their culture, their artifacts getting manhandled and desecrated. And they start, burning unclean foods and unclean this and that on the altars in their temples. Read that from 7 again, Bob Kashah.
First Maccabees chapter 2, verse 7. He said, "Woe is me! Wherefore was I born to see this misery of my people and of the holy city, and to dwell there, when it was delivered into the hand of the enemy."
So he saw all this going on, man. He saw all this happening. He said, "Whoa." He's gonna throw out a couple key phrases as we go through this. He said, "Whoa." And again, that's calling for like destruction. Not pity, not sadness, not like that Kanye song. Can't remember what song that was, but not like that Kanye joint. Like when you calling on this, I mean you talking about devastation. So pronouncing it in the Hebrew is gonna be. So let me make sure I'm looking at the right one. So the root goes back to a Y. The instance that they use yeah. So root some of the definitions. Yeah, passionate cry of grief or despair. Woe, alas, oh. A sense of crying out after lamentation. So really this is the main one that they're using. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Passionate cry of grief or despair. Whoa. All right, let's continue going down to and of the holy city. They're seeing a holy city get destroyed, getting ransacked, and all these heathens putting their hands all over their home. City. So Qadash Ayah. Holy city. Qadash Ayah. Qadash Ayah, holy city. What's some other words or phrases or terms that stick out to you in that verse, in verse 7?
So you talking to me, sir?
Yeah. Ain't nobody else here.
Okay.
Just you and me, bro.
Verse 7. Okay.
Pick a word out to translate. Something that sticks out.
Strangers.
Strangers. There we go. These strangers. You know, whoa. These strangers in our holy city, man. These strangers. These rat bastards putting their hands. A couple different. So I believe there's even a couple different. So the root, God. There we go. And in that sense. Wow. So just double check. So I believe this one's gonna be Zawar. That's an A. Zawar. There's different connotations for a stranger. You got strangers. It could have been a brother. That could have been a stranger. You know, the different reflections that it gives lets you know if they family, if they close to you, or if they like a legit like heathen nation. These war is a word that we would use for somebody of that descent, because here has there's that separation. I don't think it's going to give us what we need in Maccabees. There we go. That's the one that we're looking for, Nakah. Yeah. Context is key. Context is key. You can look at the same word in English and then look at it in the Hebrew, and you might get a couple different instances. So you got to look at the context of what they mean. So we're talking about them strangers, some heathens that were in our holy city. So these are Nakah. Let's do it in the Hebrew first. Nakah. And then let's do it in the Yeshua. Nakah. So now this more specifically from a foreigner, or heathen, alien, stranger, foreign. You might find a brother that act like that, but that's a different consideration given on to them.
Just like me, sir.
Good.
That last character, you saying the car, you dropping the A off the R, right? Is that our rock? That's that last character at the bottom. Right. No, down red. That's rock.
Yeah.
And you saying R because you doing the last. Okay.
Yeah.
I remember that was the 90-degree one. It is that one. They look the same. So the other one was Da. Da, right, sir?
Yup, the one that looks like.
Yeah, it's Da. Okay.
That's Da.
I remember too now.
And then that's Ba.
Okay, Ba.
That's Wa.
It's just profile. Short, yeah.
That's Na. That's a little exaggerated, but it's gonna be taller.
It's Na.
Yeah.
So why they ain't in the car? Why is that Na? So why they ain't in the word in the car?
At the beginning or in the middle of a word, the Na is gonna take on this character.
Okay.
At the end of a word, it'll take on this character.
Kind of a concept.
But if you were ever to see this character, like the main distinctive feature is again the thin profile,
yeah,
and then the height.
Okay.
It falls, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be
below.
taller.
Yeah, I see.
And similar with this one.
I don't know that one.
So this is Ka. That's this guy.
Okay.
So in the beginning or middle, it's that K, that Ka. At the end, it's over here.
Okay.
So it's gonna look like the Da, but it's just gonna be taller.
Okay.
So now this brother is witnessing firsthand, watching their temple get destroyed, watching these strangers coming in, looting their holy city, man. Again, we see this every day in our neighborhoods. It's not as prevalent anymore. I think I can't remember the last time I've heard about them gentrifying, but I mean, shit. Even all right. So Harlem, New York, actually, Harlem, New York, been going through that. Milwaukee is going through that too. The South Side, like, what is that? Walker's Point area. That you know, that used to look different, and now they establishing It's heavily LGBT plus propaganda out that way. So we've seen, Alexander the Greek ruling over all these different nations, passing away, giving the authority down to his buddies, them taking up their own crowns, Antiochus ruling over us, or Epiphanes. But these good brothers and wicked men coming out of Israel that were selling us out, promoting us to to make that covenant with them, to make that alliance, to kind of sign your rights away, pretty much. For what though? For like easier living. Like if we it's gonna be a struggle to defeat our enemies, but once we get past that obstacle, I mean, it's our way of life gets governed by us, having the authority and the control to, for food distribution, water, supplies, medicines, first aid, the things that we weren't going to be getting the same attention for under another nation's rulership. Again, similar to how we are existing in North Central South America and in Europe. And under any heathen ruler, they barely even take care of themselves, but they put themselves first in priority. And we saw that as an example while Ukraine was getting bombed by Russia. They made sure that them black people that was on that same train platform for those escape trains to try to get people out of to clear and evacuate Ukraine, they made sure that Ukrainians went first. They made sure that them black folks stayed behind. They can catch the second or the third train. They made sure that there was a separation. While bombs were dropping, everybody wants to talk about all this love, and got to have all this sympathy and pity for these people, but they're not going to share that same sentiment with you. And I ain't talking about the one or two cats that you get high with, and you be touching on at work like that. That ain't love. That's not real love. And you're not going to see that from anybody outside your nation. And we're talking about them collectively, the bulk of their population. They don't care about us. That we are not going to be the priority to them when they have their own babies to worry about. So while bombs were dropping on Ukraine, they made sure that there was a separation between the two. We need to take note after that because it worked out for them. Which is why Commanding General Yana sent the brothers out to New York to do that excellent mission in clothing over 140,000 South American migrants, man, Central and South American brothers and sisters and families that were in dire need of some relief. Wasn't going to get it from the shelters out there, wasn't going to get it from New York, but we came through in the clutch. So now we've seen how in those days these brothers rose up. Same way that we've seen today, man. You got the UPK and the Commanding General Yana. You're seeing brothers rising up to make sure that we don't forget about each other. Read verse 10. Maccabees, 1 Maccabees chapter 2, verse 10.
Okay. 2 Maccabees chapter 2.
1 Maccabees.
1 Maccabees?
You should be there. You should already be in 1 Maccabees.
I went to 2002.
Chapter 2. 1 Maccabees chapter 2.
Maccabees.
Because you got 1 Maccabees and you got a 2 Maccabees.
Okay.
So.
1 Maccabees chapter 2, verse 10. What nation has not had a part in her kingdom and gotten of her spoils?
Like this is for real. Like if this ain't indicative of this word being the truth, man. I don't know who else is gonna tell you the truth about what's happened to us. What nation hasn't tried to prey on us? What nation hasn't taken advantage of us in our time of need and fed off our culture?
So come look at this.
What, we break the internet?
I think we all.
And that shit just pops up. It's like spam pretty much.
Oh, okay.
You just move that down.
Okay.
You know how to use a touchpad?
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah, just move that down. Gotta leave this on. Yeah, what nation hasn't, man? One nation hasn't tried to take spoil of us. Anytime they see us bleeding out here, they jump at it. And actually, that reminds me of. I want you to grab. I want you to go to Ezekiel, chapter 22. Verse 2.
The book, read. What together?
Hold up. Yeah, so Ezekiel chapter 22, start at verse 1.
22.
Yeah, just skip down to 4. So Ezekiel chapter 22, verse 4. Read verses 4 and 5.
Ezekiel chapter 22, verses 4 and 5. Thou art become guilty in thy blood that thou hast shed.
Now, this is very heavy because of the verse that we read in Maccabees where it was saying, in those days, wicked men came out of Israel to make a covenant with the heathens. Paraphrasing that part. We become guilty of shedding that same blood by selling out like that, by dealing drugs to each other like that, by feeding each other unclean, unhealthy foods like that, by celebrating these pagan customs where, I mean, first, we ain't got no business being at no frat party. We ain't got no business being at no Christmas party, no Halloween party, no New Year's party, no birthday parties. You know, there's a lot of trouble associated with that stuff too, especially for the younger generations. So we become guilty of shedding that same blood that our oppressors have. Keep going.
And has defiled thyself in thy idols which thou hast made.
And our idols. So I mean, listen, you're gonna deck that Christmas tree. You're gonna celebrate Father Time, Baby New Year. Those are idols. That is idol worship. You're attributing power and glory and giving thanks and hoping for reward from that tree, from Santa Claus, from Walmart, from Etsy.com, from Amazon, from Temu. And you're giving your confidence to that. To get a reward, to be saved, to be healed, to get that relief. As if that's the 1 or 2 days out the year that you can come together as a family, as a people, and enjoy somebody's company. Nigga, pick any Tuesday. Pick any Tuesday, any day of the week, and we can chop it up. It ain't gotta be that for those reasons. They try to cover it up and paint paint this pretty picture of it by, just for the kids, just for the family. Well, you're lying to the kids. Your family knows the truth. Your family know ain't no chunky Edomite trying to break into your house. Well, technically, I guess there always is, but that Santa Claus figure, who is actually modeled after a black man, the same way that they did Yahushua, another person who on paper we normally see as a Caucasian figure. And it's not even that they painted him as like a light-skinned brother or nothing like that. They made him straight up European. They made him straight up Caucasian. Same thing with Santa Claus. Initially, that was a brother from Russia who did charitable acts for the kids. And as kind of checks and balance system, giving gifts to the kids that were being good and not giving gifts to the kids that were being bad. That's where that tale actually come from. But of course, they got to slap an image of their people to make it feel comfortable for their children. Again, they just looking out for themselves. It's what we would expect, somebody to do. Just you could have given the credit where it was due. You didn't have to make none of that up at all. You could have just said, listen, every December 12th, no matter what day of the week that falls on every year, let's just get together and do something. It ain't got to be over some fake birth. I wish I wasn't born in December, let alone on the 25th. I believe Nimrod was, though. And I believe they attribute some Egyptian deities or gods or pharaohs to that same date and time. But that got nothing to do with Yahushua, with Christ. But that's who they named that holiday after. The history don't match up. So you're already teaching the children to accept lies. Later on, you end up growing to damn near reject it and stress over it instead. Because now you're so accustomed to it, it's become the standard. It's become what's expected of you. In those days, wicked men came out of Israel and had our people following the same step under somebody else's rule to service their idols, to take on their culture. And it was abhorrently against ours. They try to, they were forcing us to eat pigs, to eat unclean things, to sacrifice unclean animals on our altars, which was completely unnecessary. I mean, you didn't have to do all that. If you already won the war and you already took over the city and you're already the ruling class, now you're just trying to rub our face in the shit. But you had some good brothers, some solid, courageous brothers that stood up against that and voiced their opinion against it. But keep reading in Ezekiel. So now we are guilty for that same bloodshed.
And thou hast caused thy days to draw near, and are coming to thy years.
Listen, you come into that lifestyle, you should expect a quick death. Because again, what comes with eating their festive foods? High blood pressure, pancreatic cancer, liver failure, heart disease, prostate cancer. For the men. You spend your whole life getting raised up on holiday hams and pig feets and shrimp cocktails and pork chops, just all this like seasonal food that they set up when it could have just as easily been a turkey or a steak or a chicken. It could have just been something different. But it's a spiritual thing about this pig that's lasted so many years afterwards. It's a spiritual thing about that pig. They know it's against our laws. They know it's against our customs and our people and our tradition. They know it's against our power. And they force feed that to us. And they influence us to accept it. And then you got these wicked men that come out of the ghetto. They're struggling just like us too. But they put them up on a pulpit. They give them a fresh soup. They give them a parish. They give them this book with a couple verses in it. And they charge them to lead the people. And they give them a couple dollars. They put them in the house. They clean them up. So they're feeling good about themselves. And they're happy with them gifts. And that gift destroys the heart. So it's the same thing that we have experienced today. Same problem that happened back then. Same experience that we're dealing with today. But we're starting to get them good brothers that are standing up again. Continue.
Therefore have I made thee a reproach unto the heathen, and mocking to all countries.
Therefore I made thee a reproach to the heathen. Let's look at a couple words in here too. What's a couple words that we should pick out from here, Kawal?
I said the heathens.
Let's look at heathen. Let's look at guilty.
Yeah, reproach. You see, what that means?
I will get that definition in too. See if you can pull that up on. Damn, we ain't got no physical dictionary, but normally we use the Merriam-Webster.
I got it on the card.
Alright, perfect.
I ain't bring it though.
Can you go on the website though?
Yeah.
Alright, so let's look at guilty real quick. This is in Ezekiel. Ezekiel chapter 22. Ezekiel 22 verse 4. So we're going to look at the word guilty.
So you want me to look up reproach in the dictionary?
Yeah. Let's pull up let's pull up these three words. Look up guilty, reproach, and heathen.
Okay.
Guilty. Reproach. Heathen.
Sir?
Good.
Should I look up heathen in the Zondervan Bible Dictionary? It's a little different than the regular one.
It wouldn't hurt to get them side by side and compare them.
Okay.
Yeah, give them a comparison. So guilty. Guilty. I think we all kind of know what the definition of that is. In case we punish the person. Well, wait till it gets that, but so guilty in Hebrew. You can find this in let's say Strong's H816. Asham. Guilty, shedding that same blood, man. So being a sellout will do to you. And you think these people love you? You think like when you sell out, like you think the enemy respects you when you sell out, when you sell your own people out, that they're gonna back you going forward? I mean, they'll give you some trinkets and see how much more they can get out of you, but they don't love you. Asham. Guilty, man. He became guilty, shedding that same blood that these devils do to us. They started selling crack to us. All right, so there was this video. Damn, I don't know. I think there's no way to share it, but this battle rapper Daylight. So the brother is very talented with like lyrically very talented. Comes off with some crazy punchlines and setups, and his schemes is very unorthodox. Now, he's done some weird shit. Brother, daylight, if you're listening, you know you're wrong for a few things. Lord allow, I mean, you put that light behind you and, you know, trying to shed yourself in the more ways. It's been a while since we've seen you on the scene, and some of the videos that I've seen of the brother, it seems like he is actually trying to make some changes. You know, talking about, you know, the like exposing some of the trends in the entertainment business, like behind the scenes, on how they push, you know, for the violent lyrics, for the LGBT alternative lifestyle lyrics, for the effeminate lyrics, for the drug use lyrics, and the unaliving lyrics. And it seems like he's trying to step away from that life. You know, hey, Most High in Christ, man. It's, you know, the truth is, for anybody trying to come home, any so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native, and you're ready to come home, the doors are open. The doors do shut too, though, so you know, don't be slack about it. But he had this one video recently where he was talking about, damn, so lucky, I forgot where I was going with that. It'll come back in a second when we finish this up. Sure. I had this video talking about how an undercover FBI agent had introduced his father to crack cocaine, got his father addicted to crack cocaine, and then set him loose on the streets, pretty much. Now I'm paraphrasing, and how that had destroyed his family. And he was saying how, you know, again, crack cocaine is supposed to crack your family. But you know, that's one bird's eye view testimony of the infiltration of these heathen, of these strangers, into our holy cities and destroying us from the inside out. And his father ended up becoming, you know, a drug dealer and drug addict, drug dealer, and you know, a lot of other brothers who've suffered the same thing from their fathers and mothers, you know, going down that same road, and they're following suit for a little while too. And if you survive, if you live long enough to see the difference on what you're doing and the effect that actually has on the community, you know, a lot of times, you know, people start changing their ways. So, you know, shout out to that brother Daylight. And we got a school out there in Cali, man. You know, come check it out, bro. But we become guilty of shedding that same blood, man. That's a shame. A shame. You got the definition for guilty?
Yeah. Guilty. I got two definitions. Guilty means having committed an offense, crime, or violation, or wrong, especially against moral and penal law, justified to a certain accusation, penalty, culpable. And another definition is justified charge, bro, with a particular fault or error, conscious of affected by a feeling of guilt. No, conscious or affected by a feeling.
All right, so that's more the effect that you feel when you've done something wrong and you're remorseful for it. That's where that's not where the reproach comes in this context. But yeah, guilty. We are found guilty of those charges. Read that first definition again. That's more to the point.
Having committed an offense.
Having committed an offense. We are committing that offense. Keep going.
Crime.
That we're committing them crimes. Them same crimes that our person committed against us. Keep going.
Violation.
We are violating our own people, our own holy city in accordance with these heathens. Go ahead.
Wrong, especially against moral and penal law.
Especially against moral and what law?
Penal.
Penal law. It's like the penal code, like the judicial system. Your statutes, ordinances of, you know, like Wisconsin -1.2.3C, whatever the hell that is. It's probably jaywalking. But yeah, that's definitely what we are guilty of. Committing those same crimes. All right, let's go on to reproach.
Reproach reproach, a disgrace, or shame. Righteousness exalt the nation, but sin is reproach. Yeah, disgrace and shame. That's it.
And thou art become unto no. Yeah, have I made thee a reproach unto the heathen, man? We look shameful even to them, dog. Like they don't love 50 Cent. They didn't love Tupac. They don't love Mike Tyson. They didn't love Cesar Chavez. You know what I'm saying? They don't love sitting Bull and Geronimo. They bleed the sympathy and empathy that they can gain from that media exposure. They drain that dry. That's what they love about it. The money and the resources and attention that they can get from invoking those names and the sentiment that it carries to the people that's been hurt by that loss. Like what they did to Mike Tyson, man. Like he was a loose cannon himself, but the way that they had, you know, kind of geared him and pointed him in different directions, you know, shoot him off. It's
Sir, I just recently looked up Mike Tyson today. At one time, he's worth $400 million.
Bro had money.
I ain't worth 10.
Yeah, bro had money. And then he lost, you know, messing around, man. Messing around in that life.
90 million. So.
Yeah, messing around in that life, man. And he's, you know, he's a great influence with a lot of youth. You know, definitely went through hell and back. And he's still living and breathing, good.
Matter of fact, sorry, he lost it all. He got $10 million for fighting Roy Jones Jr. recently. He just earned that money. He lost it all, sir.
To Roy Jones or that?
No, he got $2 million back for fighting against Roy Jones.
Okay.
He lost the whole $400 million. And ain't got sent to prison.
So now he's got this podcast going on. I can't remember the name of it. But bro, you gotta stop doing drugs, man. Stop it with them gummies. Stop it with the mushrooms. I know it might be a relief for you at the time, but you don't wanna spend, you know, some of your last golden years just floating into nothingness. I don't know. Maybe you do, or maybe you want to use some of your power and your influence to help the brothers of Chicago, help the brothers of New York, the boroughs. Where's he come from? Manclaw?
Catskill.
Some crazy name out there in New York. You could do something for New York in your last years. Use that power, use that influence to do something for your people, man. Leave that legacy behind. Otherwise, right now, all we're seeing from you is some doped up old man on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? And that ain't you. You know what I'm saying? It's, you know, come back home, bro. Mike Tyson, daylight, man. Come on back, man. You got a family waiting for you right here in the UPK. We got schools out there in Cali. We got schools out there in New York or wherever the brothers are staying at. You can find us. It is very easy. We're kind of noticeable. We do not wear purple like that, and we do not have fringes on our t-shirts, and we do not color coordinate. You might see us with similar covers because we earn that together. Different story behind that. But we ain't them. We ain't affiliated with no other organization. Keep that in mind. When you're looking for the truth, it's going to be right here. We'll be right here for you. All right, reproach. Approach. Harapa. 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 Read that definition again.
Reproach. Okay. Disgrace or shame.
They don't love you, man. They absolutely do not love you. But you giving them all your love, all your time, all your energy, all your money. You got brothers and sisters too that would actually love you.
So like you, sir.
Good.
Another definition say address someone in such a way to express disapproval or disappointment.
And they definitely quick to once we talk about anything from a heathen nation that affects our communities, they always quickly go to black on black violence, and y'all selling drugs to each other, and abortions, and blah blah blah. They quick to go to that again, bringing up that shame. They're looking at us like this. They're looking at us with shame. They don't love you, man. They don't love you. They ain't never gonna love you. Again, I ain't talking about band camp. I ain't talking about your middle school, high school crush. I ain't talking about old girl, that skeezer that you knocked down in college. We ain't talking about that. I ain't talking about your work wife or your work husband. We talking about as a nation of people. They don't love you. They look at you with reproach. We the best thing ever. And it's time that we treat each other like that. That'll help us get over all this. We ain't got to live in that same guilt. We ain't got to feel that reproach. And we ain't got to be dominated by them heathens, man. There's a way out of it. Man, General Yohana been trying to tell you for some years. Albert Bivens, he gave it a shot. Y'all unalived him for telling the truth. Listen, goddamn Islam. Goddamn Islam. Y'all Muslims, y'all ain't even Muslims by the definition of Islam and what a Muslim is. If Abraham and Noah were Muslim because they submitted to the Most High, y'all ain't, because you worshiping that damn rock in Mecca. You worshiping a stone. You got rocks all over the place. I don't see y'all circling none of them rocks 7 times. Making a little jihad to it. Brothers try to tell you, and we're gonna keep on telling. This is why we're gonna keep on holding these events, and we're gonna keep on going to New York, and we're gonna keep on going to Acuña, Mexico. We're gonna keep on going to the Indian reservations, and every year around this time we're gonna celebrate the Feast of Dedication, otherwise known as HACHAANAKAH. That's gonna be the last word that we're gonna spell out, and we're gonna end off with that. Heathen. Let me get heathen. What's a heathen, man? Into the heathen.
Okay. I got 2 different heathen. The King James definition of heathen: all who are not embraced under the Abrahamic covenant. Another definition.
So that's more of a spiritual thing. I get where they're going with that. But get that out the Zondervan too. I think that might be more closer to the actual definition. But read the other one.
A person who does not know about and worship the God of the Bible. Yeah. A pagan, an uncivilized person. I can't find. They won't pull up the Zondervan. They keep pulling up Gentile, and Gentile it's like synonymous with that.
You saying they're saying Gentile synonymous with it?
Yeah, Zondervan they got together, so it meant sometime, not all the time. You know that.
You got an online Zondervan? That's what you're reading from?
No, I looked it up. It gave me the Gentile one instead of that one. It gave me.
We got the book though.
We got Jonathan.
You got it here somewhere. There it goes. This should have a more closer, accurate to context version of it. That other one that they said from the King James about not being of the Abrahamic faiths, I mean that's spiritually, yeah, that's on point. It's just not really what the definition of a heathen is. A lot of people get hurt over that word heathen, and I get the negative connotation that people get out of it, the way that it's used against people. Oh, you a damn heathen. Like, you're using it as a negative pejorative. Like, I get that. But really, yeah, so we should get it from there. So, Gaoyang.
So like it's all right.
Man, I'm thinking I was going plural with that. It's like you got it.
The same thing here. Rendered Gentiles, heathen nation, but usually used as a non-Israelite.
All right, so usually used as a non-Israelite heathen nation.
Yeah.
So in itself, it's an innocent enough word, just depending on how you apply it.
So like I said, one read this one sentence will say,
Baba Kusha.
And thus has the meaning of Gentiles. Sometimes, however, it refers to the Israelites, sir.
Yeah.
Same thing, synonymous, heathen, Gentile, same thing. Not all the time, but sometimes it can mean Israelite.
And that's why context is key with these records. Context is absolutely paramount. When you're going through the scriptures, you're looking at the words, the etymology of it, tracing the back, but then using it in the appropriate applications, the way that it was meant to be used. What I always try to tell people, because they always want to bicker and moan about, the Bible was written like this, it was written like that, it was, taken apart, put back together, and so many different translations and so many different meanings, and, flowers and butterflies and love and just hold hands, disco music, all that shit. When in reality, as analogous as scriptures might be, as mysterious as things might appear, the author behind these records wrote it down with one specific intent for one specific audience, had a very direct and linear message to that demographic. So no matter what words or phrases you hear or see or read about it, and then look at the definitions especially without knowing the culture of it, you can infer whatever the hell you like. But the author of these records, I should say the authors, because the style and the tradition, the spirit of Israel never changed from Genesis to Revelations. It remained consistent. So you can gather whatever the hell you want out of it. The authors of these records had a specific intention to a specific audience. Their message was very clear, because had Paul had said, he speaks to those who know the law. So we're talking about those that are of the Israelite culture, not heathens, not strangers. So that we can get to the heart of the matter. We can identify the problems in the source, in the root of the problems, in order to come up and develop the solutions. But we need to be the ones to do that together. We can't rely on them. We can't rely on them because they look at you with reproach. Because we fell for that trap, and because we now guilty of shedding that same blood. Shedding that same blood. That's I should put the strong concordance on here too. So for Daria, it is H1471. H1471.
So I guess, sir, would this scripture tie into Isaiah 1:16-17?
Well, let's read it.
Isaiah chapter 1, verse 16-17. Wash yourselves, make yourselves clean, put away the evil of your doings from before my eyes. Cease to do evil and learn to do good. Seek justice, rebuke the oppressor, defend the fatherless, and plead for the widow.
I mean, kind of a cause and effect.
It's kind of okay.
So, we did this, so that's what we need to do.
Okay.
To kind of fix it.
To redeem us.
Yeah.
Okay, get things back on track. Okay.
Yeah, so this is kind of going, this is almost like a confession.
Okay.
What was going on here. Because I want you to read verse 5 real quick too.
Verse 5 or...
Ezekiel 22 and 5.
Okay.
Baba Kusha. Because we finished 4, correct?
Yes.
All right. Erase this. It's one verse that I bring out all the time at camp, and this is something that our people had faced in that time of HACHAANAKAH. You know, these wicked men came out of Israel, man, and they were guilty of helping to shed that same blood. They may have never picked up a knife themselves. They may have never, pitched PCP. You know what I'm saying? Sexually assaulted, a brother, wife, or their children. May have never done that themselves. But because they sold out and they left the gates open for them vultures and them wolves to come running at us, to charge the gates, to enter our home. They guilty of that blood. Martin Luther King Jr., he guilty of that blood. Yeah. All right, read 5 real quick.
Ezekiel chapter 22, verse 5. Those that be near and those that be far from thee.
Foreign and domestic. Foreign and domestic. I don't care if they're right across the street from you. I don't care if they're across town. I don't care if they're in a different county, different state, city, whatever. Those that be near and that be far, go ahead.
Shall mock thee.
Oh, they don't care about you, man. They gonna mock you. They don't care about what you're going through out here. They're not gonna help you. They ain't gonna lift a damn finger. We've been subjected to such cruelty in America for hundreds of years, and it's been publicly broadcasted. You can't tell me out there in Europe that they didn't know about this. Out there in Israel and Palestine back in the day, you can't tell me that they didn't know about our conditions here in America. They didn't lift a goddamn finger. They did nothing for us. Maybe we didn't have enough PR, campaign. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we weren't screaming and shouting enough. Maybe we weren't getting mocked enough by these heathens. They're laughing at us across seas. They're laughing at us in City Hall. Because of what we turned into. We turned into exactly what they wanted to. But you got some good brothers like Mattathias and Judas Maccabeus who stood up against the oppression, fought back, and kept the integrity of their people. They followed the suit of their fathers. And they don't worship no Christmas, man. They don't worship no stupid pagan customs and holidays. So we are honoring HACHAANAKAH. We're gonna remember this every year.
That's right.
Ran myself out of the room. Yeah, let me push this back. Let me get this center stage. I feel like the Paleo Hebrew got a little bit more spirit behind it. Again, that's coming a little bit more closer to home to our time. So HACHAANAKAH. I'm trying to look up this word real quick. Actually, that might almost literally translate into. Phone's almost down to. All right, Salakia. So yeah. All right. So HACHAANAKAH, Salakia, means dedication. HANUKKAH itself. So when we say the feast of HACHAANAKAH, dedication. That's literally what HACHAANAKAH translates into. All right, and with that, we will close the class out. Thank you for joining us. You gotta get with your people if you're able to. Join us next week. All right, so it's tomorrow morning. We got Sabbath service kicking off 10 a.m. We got Purim coming up. It's gonna be all right, Thursday, February 22nd at sundown through Friday, February 23rd at sundown. You can find that in the book of Esther, chapter 9, verses 20 through 31. So we're gonna be celebrating Purim. That is a high holy day, a convocation. So again, get ready to gather together with the people. If you can only watch it online, I mean that's okay, but just get in the spirit of it. And Lord allow, we'll see each other real soon at the Lord's 55th annual Passover, April 20th, Durham, North Carolina. Man, get ready for this. $200 per adult, 17 and older. Get that money in as soon as you can. Don't want to wait till the last minute, because that's going to give you free access to all the other events that are lined up throughout that whole week that we're going to be there. So let's get this going. Shalom, Israel. Yahweh Shem Yahshua Barakatham to the brothers. Yahweh Shamar Alatam Ba'Shem Yahshua to the sisters. Shalom.
Yeah, finish it, man. Stop.